Special Festival Report by Atticus Oldman for the Brass Fringe. steampunkalmanac.co.uk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Atticus Oldman, and I'm out and about today in Edinburgh, down at the Thunder Road Emporium Bootleggers Bar on Lothian Street, and I'm sitting with Paul Forsyth, the owner, and Baz Simpson, aka The Wolf. Now, chaps, you've got a lot happening coming up in the Jazz and Blues Festival and the Fringe this year.
Yeah, there's plenty coming up, and we've tried to explore different avenues of making things a bit more interesting for people to come and enjoy the more darker sides or underground scene of music and stepping away from the generic. So what we've tried to achieve now is we've focused on bringing a war against the generic, whether it be drinks, food, and especially with music, that we teamed up with Baz to get through that. Yeah.
So Baz, tell us a wee bit about yourself and some of the musical treats that you've got coming up for us over the next wee while here.
Well, just to team up with Paul was a really great thing for me. Personally, I came in here to just get some gigs, but we really hit it off, and I'm lucky enough to be working with him now throughout the Jazz and Blues Festival and the Edinburgh Fringe Festival as well. So we've got lots of stuff coming up. I'm not working on the DJ side of things, I'm working on the live music side of things, so strictly be just looking primarily for live bands. Also, there's going to be some burlesque people that we know, both from Paul's side of things and from my side of things, so we've looked at put that in our programme as well. But we're going to have people from out of town that I know from previous festivals, and also going to be pushing some of the Edinburgh locals as well. So yeah, that's primarily what I'm doing. And yeah.
Well, as a steampunk, I have to say you've created a lovely little venue here. There's a nice little staged area, and there's sort of comfortable seating made of bale of hay, and there's a delightful bar with a lot of exclusive products that we'll be talking about in a wee while, folks. But could you tell us a bit about the bar and what you're planning to do over the next wee while then?
Yeah, totally. We wanted to come up with something that was a bit different from what we see happening over the Fringe Festival and how it started to evolve and change. And we wanted to bring a bit more music and a bit more culture towards the Edinburgh scene during the Jazz and Fringe Festival. We do see a lot of generic products in terms of drinks coming across the bar, and I think there's been a massive focus obviously with the International Festival, whether it come to acting and comedians. So it's good that I've managed to team up with Baz, like-minded thinking people, to be able to come up with something just a little bit more different and offer a free venue where we can offer some of the best bands that we can possibly find and source throughout the UK, and burlesque dancers and freaky acts she'll have put out there, and something that's just a bit more interesting so people can get a bit more involved. In terms of things like the drinks that we talk about later, we've obviously tried to adjust things and bring the prices down to match up with what you'd get generic, general beers, these companies that have kind of dominated the festivals, which generally happens these days. So we want everyone to come in and explore the venue and have things happening, moving around you, rather than it just being stuck to the stage. We want things to happen while the bands are on, people coming out doing burlesque, aerial acrobatics, while you're in having a good drink. So like I said, the venue's free. Enjoy some crazy cocktails that we've put together using alcoholic candy floss, liqueur gelatos, and bacon bourbon and things like that. So it's just a bit more of an experience, and then moving on from that, we'll be really focusing on these really intricate underground bands that we'll be getting in as well, sort of thing. But yeah.
Well, it's a kind of real steampunk and diesel punk vibe that you've got going on in the decoration and the suppage, I've got to say. It's very attractive, very attractive. It's calling my name.
Yeah.
But Baz, can you tell us a wee bit about the actual sort of bands and musicians that will be playing as opposed to the DJs and the performers?
Yeah, sure. Well, because I run the Wolf Sessions in Edinburgh, and I have done for the last 5 years.
Tell us a wee bit about the Wolf Sessions first of all.
It's essentially started out at a pub. I'd been around Edinburgh. I didn't notice enough sort of blues music jams going on, and I'd been at a lot of jams. I love folk music, don't get me wrong, but I really love blues music. That's my thing. and there wasn't much of that going on back then that I could find or see anyway. So I essentially got a couple of mates together. We sat around a table in a bar. We started a session on a Sunday afternoon, and that grew. After a year, we started getting a stage live. We got bands in. We got one guest band a week would come in, and then it just kind of snowballed from that. Then I moved to a different venue. We got bigger at the Blind Poet from the Ale House, and then from the Blind Poet we moved to Henry's, and it got bigger, and then I was essentially running like 5 bands a night. And
it's actually grown to be one of the most respected blues occasions and celebrations actually happen in Edinburgh, and that's not just during the festivals and the Fringe. This is all year round, folks.
Yeah, this is what I do every day of my life, is pushing my session, but going out, meeting people, meeting new musicians, it doesn't matter if you're a musician or not. I mean, music's my thing, but I've got a lot of friends who are street performers, stall owners, you know what I mean, actors, people that are photographers, sound engineers, lighting guys. I've met them all through just what I've been doing over the last sort of 4 or 5 years.
Networking, eh?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And this is all coming to a head really with what you're doing here now over the forthcoming couple of months and that, really, because it's, I mean, so you'll be playing yourself.
I will indeed, yeah.
Is Baz Simpson, or is that a band that you've got on the go that I know will appeal to you by a lot of folks, called the Violent Mood Swings?
Yeah, the Violent Mood Swings will be doing some shows during the Fringe.
Well, one of the nights that you've got coming up that will definitely appeal to the steampunk crew has a bit of a fruity name, folks. If you're easily offended, cover your ears now, for fuck's sake. Can you tell us what it is? It's a bit of a special piratey do.
Yeah, it's we're doing the release of one of our new brands that have come onto our portfolio, which is Parlay Rum, which is a dark spiced rum. It's very earthy and very sweet. It's very different from anything else you'll try. So obviously, with the way we think, we like to think outside the box. So our main night we'll be holding for that is a fuck everything and become a pirate steampunk party pirate nights, where we'll be exploring some a bit more underground music from Baz's side. I think some Polish gypsy music will be playing for that night, and I think Baz is going to be headlining for that one as well. So we're going to be handing out eye patches, making up some pirate cocktails, and having a bit of a swashbuckling time, I think. You know?
That sounds rather grand. So you've got the pirate nights coming up, and I'll be posting you details of that when it's fully confirmed, folks, so don't worry on that scope. But what else is going to be happening then?
No, we've got plenty of stuff coming up, you know, like we said, you know, meeting Baz has just been a blessing, you know, forward thinking and thinking outside the box of what we're going to be doing. We've got massive launches with some of our different bands where we'll be handing out loads of free cocktails along with different samples of food to go out, with our vintage Velvet night from our new vodka that we're going to be using as well, and especially with our bacon bourbon, which is the first ever in the UK. So over the next few weeks, me and Baz are going to be knocking our heads together, coming up some really out there wicked nights, trying to pull as many nutters in as possible to make a great experience when you come in. You know, it's a moving, breathing beast, and between me and Baz and the team that we work here, we're just going to make it extra special. And you know, the main thing is that it's all free to make people come out and experience a bit more art and culture in Edinburgh, which we seem to be lacking a lot these days, sort of thing. So Baz is going to be hitting up with the band, so he can tell you a bit about that. And but yeah, it's just a big journey we're going to be pumping through on, you know, sort of thing.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, you know, the bands, I mean, what kind of music really are you kind of looking for? Because there's a kind of, you know, as I say, the diesel punk and the steampunk vibe is very kind of strong, and there's a very kind of 1920s kind of frapper kind of feel about the advertising that I've seen. Will that be reflected really in the music and the performances that are?
There will, certainly will be, and I mean, we'll always be leaving some slots open. I always do every Fringe, because you will meet a couple of really great acts that you've never met before, and you would like to offer them space to come and do their stuff and maybe promote their own show. But promote their own show in this space that Paul and myself are working on.
So at the moment, people can actually still apply to, you know...
Yeah, of course, they can message us.
Day and night. And they can get that through the website, or is it...
Through the website, through Facebook, contact Baz directly through the Bootleggers Facebook page, or go onto the website, www.thunderroademporium.com. You can contact us direct from there. Through August, we'll be having bands and gigs and acts going on from 12 o'clock in the afternoon all the way till 3 o'clock in the morning, so there's plenty of space for people to come in and, you know, market themselves and market that music, and that's what we're looking for, is very creative underground vibe to fit in with what we're doing. Yeah, definitely.
I can hear folk running around trying to get pens and bits of paper just now as we speak. Could you give us that web address again, just to be on the safe side?
It's www.thunderroademporium.com.
Excellent. Now, apart from the bands, you were saying that there's going to be acts and performances happening as well. Now, it's not just going to be on the stage. I'm sitting looking at, they've got a lovely stage here, folk, which is going to be sort of like a real pleasure to listen to. But there's enough room for folk to actually get out and about and in and amongst us all as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've been in contact with friends across the UK, and you know, especially with one of our acts that are going to be playing through a week through August with Missy Phillips and the Beautiful Magicians. Missy is a gorgeous, creative dancer. She does a lot of burlesque and some obscure pole dancing and things like this. She's really focusing on some of her more risque stuff with her burlesque, where she attaches bits of metal to her body, pulls out angle grinders and starts sparking her body. This things will be happening around. There could be bands playing at the same time, and this will just start creeping out the woodworks. We've got really dark magicians, you know, sawing off their arms. We've also got aerial acrobatics coming in across, so that'll be all happening around your head, and some crazy club opera singers, similar to what you'd find if you ever watched The Fifth Element, a big purple lady singing crazy opera to club music. So that sort of thing they're bringing up, and we're focusing on more of that sort of performance around you. So it's not just, you know, stuck at the stage. You always focus on there. We want people to interact, whether it be the drinks and the food. We want it just to be like I said, a moving beast, so you can actually get involved with it all, you know. So it's a bit more of a big show, you know, that's not just restricted.
I've got to say, folks, I've been in Edinburgh for about 25 years now, and I used to run the Internet Festival here in town, and there's very few projects I've been as excited about. At this stage in the game, I think they've got something actually fantastic going on here. Now, apart from the music and the performance, we were talking earlier about some of the, you know, the food and the suppage, the alcohol, you know, that's sort of like calling my name as I speak. But tell us a wee bit about that side of things, because Thunder Road Emporium is actually something quite special.
It's a new spirit brand company that I set up, and you know, I've worked with many spirits over the years, over the last 2 decades, and you know, it's working with spirits that sometimes you just don't agree with or believe in. So I wanted to build a portfolio dedicated for customers and bars and restaurants and, you know, off license, that they can really have a bit of fun with, you know, and really focus on the craft side of things. So, you know, we got the first ever bottled bacon bourbon, first range of tea liqueurs.
Tell us a wee bit more about the bottled bacon bourbon, because I know that's already got a fair few of the steampunks interested.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming over from the States. It's real bacon, fat washed through a really young, award-winning bourbon. It's very sweet, very smooth, has a nose of bacon frazzles, but you can really taste the bourbon, and then you get this lingering aftertaste, beautiful aftertaste of bacon afterwards. So we put that into some of our cocktails, we put it into our popcorn, we put it into our candy floss, so you can eat your cocktails, drink your cocktails, and play about. Also with our limoncello, meloncello range, with our meloncello we make a little play on the Italian classic, a Parma ham and melon martini, so you can eat your drink and drink your drink. So it's just a bit more out there, and all the brands we use are very, shall I say, exclusive premium brands that are, you know, crafted by good family friends that we see as part of our family now. You know, whether it be our barley vodka, which is almost like an unaged whiskey but very nutty, with a gin which is using water which is over 1 million years old and toasted oak bark from its region, from Langton's Gin. The list is endless of the great products that we're pulling in, and it's part of the movement that we're trying to put together with the rest of the team that are on board, you know, and everyone that's contributed to making this happen. And as the company starts to grow, it's been pretty special, you know.
It's an outstanding range, and most of the are actually featured on the website at present, where quite a few more to be joining them.
There will be more to be joining them, and like we said, it's just a bit more different. It's a war against the generic, so that's why we're playing it. You know, we're stepping away from the mainstream big products that really don't shine out, you know, sort of thing. So we've teamed up with people like In Variety Morton and New Wave to get our wines and our craft beers, so you won't find any generic products. They're all different, you know, whether it be our craft beer, and again with our wine, our Prosecco's, it's just all a little bit different. And we're happy to boast we're one of the only bars, I believe, in Edinburgh to be able to go out with an off license. So we're happy to purchase a bottle from our boutique bar, and we also have a takeaway license to make sure that you can go off and not have to down your drink and take it to the next show, so you can be happy to have a little swill on the way to your next show. Absolutely outstanding. Now, one of the things I noticed on the advertising as well was mead. Yeah, that's very happy we got that on board. You know, these sort of intricate products, you know, we're doing like the clay pot aged Negronis, which is really interesting. And then obviously we wanted to step away again. You know, I grew up in Devon, you know, so trying to get a really good scrumpy is very different. So you try all these, you know, I don't want to point any names out, but these fizzy sweet ciders that you get, generic ciders. This is not cider, this is perry, you know, it's not the correct stuff. So we wanted to do something a bit different. So if you like cider, we introduced a fizzy mead. It's very fruity. There's also an IPA version, which is a hopped version of a mead, and they're very different from anything else you'll try. They're a little bit exy for a bottle, but it's from a small batch distiller, so he only makes a certain amount, but you're paying for what you get, and it's such an experience to drink these products, you know, so it really stands out. Yeah.
Well, Baz, can you actually give us a few sort of like names of the actual bands that are going to be here then?
I surely can, yeah. We've got some Edinburgh bands that are getting quite big, good friends of ours. We've got Black Cat Bone will be coming along. We've got the Rising Souls. We've got Charlotte Marshall and friends who'll be sort of doing residency stuff throughout the Fringe Festival. We've also got some international friends coming from out of town. We've got like Soweto Simply Encha. We've got my friend from San Francisco, Mr. John Anaya, who'll be playing here actually tomorrow night from 11 p.m. We also got out-of-towners that I'm currently speaking with online, just trying to see what their movements are. So if I get them confirmed, you'll be very happy, but I'm not going to say any more about that.
You tease, you big tease.
So just get down to Thunder Road and you're going to see lots of great stuff this year. So
it is actually going to be totally fantastic.
And my own band, of course, the Violent Mood Swings will be playing.
Oh no, them chaps, they're going to be here. Oh my word, bring your bail money, folks, because they rock the joint. They're going to rock the joint.
Well, that's the main thing, you know, and like we said, it's always going to be free for people to come in, and you know, all we ask is that, you know, once you're in here, get yourself a couple of drinks, get involved when Baz tells you to get up and dance, and just you know, chuck some money in the donation bucket to support the bands. And that's the main thing, is, you know, we're a big community, and let's keep each other supported. Yeah,
that's it for sure.
That's the way, folks. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Paul Forsyth and Baz Simpson, and it's the Thunder Road Emporium Bootleggers Bar, Lothian Street in Edinburgh, all the way through the Jazz and Blues Festival and the Edinburgh Fringe, and hopefully far beyond as well. Thank you very much, chaps.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
This is Atticus Oldman, and you've been listening to a special festivals report for the Brass Fringe, steampunkalmanac.co.uk. Join us for an Absinthe affair on Newsagain Radio at newsagain.media.